Hey guys, Adam Tanner here from fitnessforlife365.com. In this video I'm gonna answer the backlash basically I'm getting because I'm not giving too much credit for Tony Ferguson. Let me start by saying Ferguson probably has the best submissions that I can think of on top of my head in the lightweight division. He's an amazing fighter. Definitely top 5 lightweights probably of all time, I would say Ferguson would be. However, the reason why I don't think he's a threat to McGregor or a threat to Khabib, and I'm not saying he would never beat them, I'm just saying he's not that much of a threat. And the reason behind it is his defense that he fought killers. I don't see a single killer that he fought with an asterisk next to it. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When I said that he lost to Michael Johnson 30-27, everyone went nuts saying that he broke his arm during the fight. Now, I'm gonna ask you to go watch that fight again. Michael Johnson, from the beginning of the fight, was kicking him so hard and he was blocking these punches with the arm that got injured. So there is no excuse. That's number 1. Number 2, he broke his arm mid or end of round 2 and he lost 30-27, meaning that he actually did lose round number 1. There is no extra here. He actually lost that fight. I'm saying, look what Khabib did to Johnson. It wasn't even a competition. Everyone's saying Tibau. Well, Tibau is an amazing fighter, and they look comparing Tibau with what happened with Khabib and Tibau. It's true that Khabib tried to take Tibau 16 times and he failed, but why is no one keeping in mind the fact that Tibau was roided out of his mind when he fought Khabib? The fact that Tibau was probably one of the guys that have the most fights in UFC history. I think this was like his 17th UFC fight, if I'm not mistaken, and that was Khabib's 2nd UFC fight. This fight was 6 years ago. 6 years ago. And the fact it is, Tibau was afraid to engage with Khabib to begin with. Even if we say Khabib lost that fight, he didn't. But let's just say Khabib lost that fight. Who cares? It was 6 years ago. It was his 2nd UFC fight. He's still a beginner. Like, it's not even like a fair comparison at all. And if we're talking about Ferguson fight with Tibau, amazing performance, amazing submission. I think it was a rear naked choke, if I remember correctly, and it was like a very fast one, like maybe 3 minutes or something. But Tibau actually, when you saw it start coming in, and after he tested positive, I can't remember when he tested positive. He missed weight a couple of times. That was before the Khabib fight. I just can't remember when he tested positive. I think it was after him or not, but like I don't remember, but it wasn't. Khabib fought Tibau at his best, and this is something for sure. He was coming off an impressive win over RDA. He was really at the prime of his career. When Ferguson fought him, it was probably 3 years later, and since then Tibau had 2 fights after the Ferguson fight, if I remember correctly. One of them was very recent against Islam in January of this year, and he lost both fights since then. I mean, you can tell that his condition was really horrible, although I believe that he was still on steroids when he fought Tony Ferguson, because he did test positive after that fight. So I'm giving credit to Ferguson for that, but like, I'm just saying he wasn't really ranked world number 1 or even top ranked when he fought Ferguson. It wasn't this like unbeatable guy at the time. It's not too much of an impressive win. Like, when you say I beat killers, the Michael Johnson beat you The other guy that is a really big name that you fought after that was 3 years after that, and it was Tebow, and it wasn't that big of a win. Impressive though. I'm not taking anything from him. He did 10 times better than what Khabib did with Tebow. But let's look at another tough fight he had, which is Edson Barboza, right? There's an asterisk next to this one as well. Does anyone remember that upkick? Because it was mentioned in the comments to me, and I was asked if he's a dirty fighter or not, and I said I don't think he is, but he almost knocked out Barboza with an upkick in round number 1. And the fight was insanely competitive even after that. And even after that, Edson was able to take him down. There was an upkick that almost knocked him out in the first round. And there was a point also taken with him because it was a really brutal kick that almost ended the fight. If actually Barboza said he can't continue the fight, he would have won by disqualification. Let's see. Thompson. Thompson is a very tough fight. Is a very, very tough fight. Josh Thompson. But Thompson was on a 2-fight losing streak when he fought Tony Ferguson. Barboza, we talked about it. Lando Venata, right? That was a guy that was just new to the UFC, and he took the fight on a last-minute notice. I mean, it's same with Khabib and Daryl Horcher, really. Then let's talk about. There's only 2 fights with 2 big names after that. RDA. There are 6 major media outlets that cover the fight and score it. Every single one of them gave round 1 to RDA. Hunter, stop. Every single one of them gave round number 1 to RDA. All judges gave round 1 to RDA. There is not a single person I know of that gave round 1 to Ferguson. Round 2, Tony Ferguson poked him in the eye. And yet he does not finish the fight. It still goes to decision. And it ends 48-47 to Ferguson. And one media outlet gave it 48-47 to RDA. I truly believe Ferguson won that fight. No doubt about it. However, the eye poke is still gonna be there. What if that eye poke did not happen? We can't tell. The reason why I'm not too impressed by Ferguson is because all his big wins have a big question mark next to it. Now let's go to the last one. And also compare what Khabib was able to do to RDA and what Ferguson did to him. All fairness, Khabib, when he fought RDA, he was not as good as he was when he fought Ferguson. But there's also another thing. Tony Ferguson, when he fought RDA was half dead. He almost died making weight. He actually almost died making weight against Eddie Alvarez, and we saw how horrible he fought against Eddie Alvarez. He looked like he did not belong in there. He looked like how Joanna looked in her fight with Rose. It looked how Miesha Tate looked in her fight with Amanda Nunes. It's just some people, when they get to a really rough weight cut, you can see... Just a second. Hunter, I said no. Sorry about that. After a really horrible weight cut, you just really not yourself. And that was the last fight for RDA at lightweight. He said, I can't do anymore. I can't do that weight cut anymore. And we've all seen him move up after that. The last one is Kevin Lee. And everyone is telling me you can come up with reasons for all the fights except for the Kevin Lee fight. And to be honest, you guys are joking. Absolutely joking. Let's look at the Kevin Lee fight. And I'm not taking anything from Ferguson. I'm just saying I did not see that performance that was like, oh my god, this guy is unbelievable. I saw that from Khabib, and I saw that from McGregor. I saw that with McGregor with Aldo, with McGregor and Eddie Alvarez. I saw that with Khabib in all his fights, probably. Kevin Lee was ranked number 7. Why did they not give him anyone better ranked than that to begin with for an interim title shot? Not just this is ranked number 7. Kevin Lee was having so much trouble leading up to that fight that we're not going to discuss. You guys can watch him with Brendan Schaub. He went into all the details of what was happening. But again, they will just be excuses. Now, let me give you reasons. Again, when we talked about the weight cut, Kevin Lee did not miss weight. So that's why not a lot of people remember that. However, he did actually miss weight and was given 1 hour to lose the extra pound. He weighed in 156. He looked like a complete zombie on the scale. Guys, go check the video. And he was given 1 hour. He was too scared that he was gonna miss weight again, because that was his last chance at winning a title, that he almost killed himself to not just lose 1 pound. He lost 1.5 and he weighed in at 154.5 pounds. So there you go, another negative there. There's also the fact is that he had staph infection. Do you know how drained and tired he would have been for that fight? Again, all these are excuses. And I'm just trying to make the point here that when that fight took place, Kevin Lee was winning on all judges' scorecards until he gassed out. He had Ferguson, when he's still breathing and he's still doing good, he had Ferguson fully mounted. When Kevin Lee has Ferguson fully mounted, what will Khabib do to him? Again, I said Ferguson can always steal that submission, so it's always there. But the fact that he can compete on the same level with Khabib and McGregor is just, it's a bit of a stretch to me, because I did not see him in any impressive fight without a big question mark next to him. He could not even stand with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is amazing at stand-up. Everyone knows that. But he's not a Conor McGregor. I'm sorry. He's not a Conor McGregor. He could not even stand with Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz could not even stand with Conor McGregor. And Nate is a phenomenal boxer. He gassed out. We get that. Then he lost. But that's not the same. He just couldn't stand with him. And when it comes to Conor McGregor and Ferguson, anyone who gets hit easily, I do not see him as a threat to McGregor. Especially when... So Ferguson is very, very good at submitting people off his back. Do you really think McGregor's gonna take him down? He's gonna be trying to avoid any takedown. And standing up, Ferguson is no match for him. Everyone keeps saying that. Everyone said, oh, he will be able to stand with him. This guy will be able to stand with him. No one did. No one came close to it. So yeah, this is the reason why I'm not considering... You know what, guys? If Ferguson fought Khabib and he put a beating on him, if he dominated Khabib, I will hands down say that Ferguson is probably the greatest lightweight of all time, even better than BJ Penn at his best. I will go as far as to say that. I just don't see it happening. And I'm not discrediting the guy for whatever he did. What he did is absolutely phenomenal. What, he's 11-0 now at lightweight? No one does that. No one does that. The lightweight division is the most division that people can't hold their titles. It just keeps changing. You had someone like Anthony Pettis was just the champion. What happened to him? The guy's not even ranked now. I think he's like 13 or something like that. And also, like, Ferguson was fighting when Anthony Pettis was top of his game, when Gilbert Melendez was on top of his game, when Nate Diaz, Nate Diaz had a little bit of time that he got a bit, when Donald Cerrone, Eddie Alvarez, he did not fight any of these guys. Now these are the killers of the division, or they were. What Ferguson, his timing with the people he fought is not too impressive. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take anything from him, but it's not as impressive as people making it sound. Khabib actually fought Michael Johnson when he was more impressive. Michael Johnson was kind of a beginner, and when even Joe Rogan was talking about him in the fight commentary. He was not too, like, he was just saying he's a good guy, he's still learning, he's still getting better, and all that kind of stuff. When Khabib fought everyone he fought, like, they were really at the top of their game. I think Johnson was coming off a knockout to Dustin Poirier. He was right now ranked number 5 or something. Was it something like that, if I recall correctly? Daryl Horcher was just signing with the UFC. Again, he's not on the same level, but like, Daryl, I think he was like a 12-1 and on a 5-fight win streak when he fought Khabib. There's also one very impressive win for Khabib that no one talks about. It's Thiago Tavares. Thiago Tavares, by the way, and this is very important for you guys. Ferguson just became a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu like 2 months ago or something like that. It's very, very recent. Thiago Tavares is a 3rd degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He maybe wasn't 3rd when he fought Khabib. Maybe it was 2nd degree. Doesn't matter. But like, his Jiu-Jitsu is definitely way better. And Khabib knocked him out in the first round. There's something that also people don't keep that in mind. Tavares tested positive for that fight, and the guy is undefeated in Brazil. Never lost in Brazil. I don't even think he came close to losing in Brazil before. And Khabib just goes there and knocks him out in the first round. Now that's impressive. And again, when Khabib fought Edson Barboza, he was on a 3-fight win streak. When Ferguson fought him, and those 3-fight winning streak was what, to Anthony Pettis, Gilbert Melendez. They weren't at the top of their game, but they're still very impressive wins. They both were champions. When he fought Ferguson, he was on a 1-fight win streak, a decision. It was a very impressive win, but I'm just saying there's the timing of when these people fought. And Michael Johnson, yeah, I think Michael Johnson, when he fought Khabib, it was after that first round knockout to Dustin Poirier. Yeah, when he fought Ferguson, he was like 10-6, and he was really a beginner. He was not that tough of a guy. He was probably like 2-2 in the UFC. He just wasn't that good. A lot of people might disagree with it, but these are just facts, guys. I'm not even saying my opinion. These are actual facts. Everything I said actually did happen. And there's also the fact that when, like, in all fairness, Khabib beat Abel when he took him down 21 times, scoring the biggest ever amount of takedowns in any MMA fight. Even a 5-round fight, no one actually ever came close to that number. I'm mentioning that Khabib missed weight. Khabib missed weight on that fight. So I'm not just pointing out what's wrong with Ferguson. I'm pointing out what's wrong with Khabib as well. But the thing is, there's not too many question marks next to Khabib when there is so many next to Ferguson. When it comes to McGregor as well, guys, I talked about his cardio and how he actually has really good cardio, only gets tired because, you know, he mentally is drained. I doubt that he would have this issue with Tony Ferguson. He might have it with Khabib, because if Khabib takes him down, he will get drained. But Ferguson is not that good at taking people down compared to other people that McGregor fought. The threat is not as big, and standing up, he doesn't have that threat. He doesn't have the same threat that Nate Diaz had, or you know, I just don't see him being mentally exhausted to him to being tired. I don't think Ferguson would like tire him out to the point that he will just be standing there and getting like beat up, like what happened with Floyd in round number 10, or what happened with Nate in round number 2 in their first and second fight, and the third round also of the second fight. I don't think he's capable of doing that to Conor. Again, I could be wrong on this one. This is not a fact. Everything else were actual facts. I could be wrong on this one, but this is how I see it. I don't see Ferguson being the biggest threat to Conor. I don't see Ferguson being the biggest threat to Khabib. Again, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you're going to argue any of these facts, tell me what did I get wrong. If he did not poke RDA, if RDA did not win the first round, if he did not upkick Edson Barboza in the first round, if any of these things are not true, if he didn't break his arm in the second round with Michael Johnson, just let me know. Otherwise, save it. Because these are just facts and I'm simply just stating them. I'm not even going to too much depth of analysis when it comes to the fight. I will definitely do that the week of the fight, and I will break down their movement, their wrestling, their jiu-jitsu, and everything in between. But till now, I'm just stating some facts. Don't forget, guys, he's 25-0. Khabib Nurmagomedov is 25-0. Did not lose a single round. I do agree that the Tibau fight was not meant to be 30-27, but he still won the fight very clearly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you soon.